Good morning. I think it's a good day here to talk about osteoporosis. We've had our holidays and our splurges and maybe some inactivity or different types of activity. And Carrie Powers and myself are here to give you an overview of what this successful program for osteoporosis is all about. It's called OsteoFitness. And we are currently at the Lexington Community Center. And this is where we do hold our Zoom classes on Wednesdays and Fridays.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm Beverly Eicher, and I've been certified with the National Council of Strength and Fitness for years. I'm a board certified muscular therapist and an active member of the Bone Health and Osteoporosis Foundation, formerly the National Osteoporosis Foundation. And I created OsteoFitness 27 years ago and studied several times with Miriam Nelson, who authored Strong Women Stay Young and Strong Bones and all kinds of other strong things she wrote about. But here I am, and it's always a joy to work with Carrie because I do one thing and she does the other. I do want to mention that OsteoFitness has had a success rate in terms of building bone. ICT scores improving in my program, but it is a multi-layered program, and we will feed you this in small bites throughout this session. To my right is Carrie.
Hi.
I've been working with Carrie for 6 or 7 years. She's been working with my OsteoFitness clients. She has worked with me, she has worked for me, and she's a very keen instructor, and she pays detailed attention to form. So we may be stretching out some of these exercises, but we have to do it because there are many new people in this class. We have quite a few people who do not know the program, and so we're starting from ground zero to teach you the fundamentals. Carrie is the co-owner of Fitness Together in Lexington. She is an ACE certified personal trainer and is a lifestyle management nutrition specialist. So she has been dabbling and working in health for as many years as I can remember. And I've actually known Carrie probably for 20 years.
Yes, at least.
So we're both very young. You can tell that, right? Because we have another 20 years to go.
Oh, God, at least 20.
So this is what today is all about. The description of the class is what most people want. And we don't jump right into strengthening. What we do in this class is work on preventing a fall. That's the fastest way to prevent a fracture. Now, how we prevent a fall is through balance exercises, strengthening exercises, and proprioception. Sidebar, all of these will be demonstrated by Carrie in just a few minutes. Then we go into the next big chunk of category, which is fall retrieval, and that is a lot of foot activity, which develops over time. An important part of this program is we warm up internal joints, very small joints and small structures, before we add the load of strengthening on that joint. So we start with the neck and the shoulders. We work on the joints of the spine. We work on the joints of the hip, especially neck of the femur. So if you know your bone scan and you know where the largest numbers are, that means the weakest bone area. So pay attention. I will mention the osteoporotic sites. The strengthening is, then we'll get into that, is integrative progression. So we start off low. You start off low, and then we get going and progress very gently and very casually, but not to exertion and pain or injury. We always progress, but we do it carefully under my tutelage. And we will always advise you in the program when to go up in weights. Now, when we do the strengthening program, we offer an upright program and a floor program. So anybody who cannot get to the floor will still benefit by doing them standing. The last thing that I'll touch on will be nutrition, and that will be covered very glibly, because we want you to understand in a big way what the program is. It does get results, and then when you need more detail, that would come to you after you register. So if you wanted to register, we will give you that information at the end of the session. There's another thing that comes along with the registration, aside from getting OsteoFitness twice a week via Zoom, is that you would get a newsletter, more information about osteoporosis, and you would get a floating video, which means you could plug that in as a third workout for the week, or on weekends, or if you miss a Zoom class. So we have many other perks, including recipes, but I'm not going to go into those. Those are details. I think that we will put out once you register, all right? My website is osteofitness.com. osteofitness.com. Osteofitness is one word. So let's get started, Carrie, with our
Okay.
great big fall prevention. I hear a lot of people coming to me saying, my doctor just told me don't fall. How can you just say don't fall? You know,
Right.
you have to have skills to prevent a fall, and you have to have skills to retrieve a fall. So this is where we start every single week, and we will start with balance.
Okay. So I'm gonna push that back so you can all see me. All right, so we're gonna start with some balance work. So our first move.
It's going to be standing in tandem with the eyes closed.
Okay, so tandem standing, it's as if you're on a balance beam. You're gonna take your right foot, bring it in front of the left toes. If that's too challenging for you, definitely try it now if you're up for trying some moves. If that's too challenging, you're gonna make your base a little bit wider, which would be here. Otherwise, heel to toe, shoulders are back and down. You're gonna start thinking about these muscles right here, the center of your body, pulling those muscles in just a bit. You're gonna bring your arms out to the side. So you can hold here, shift the weight back into your heels, and then you're gonna slowly close your eyes if and when you are ready to do that. And then you're gonna refocus into the feet, keeping that weight back into the heels, reaching through the fingers, and you're just gonna breathe.
It's not that easy, Carrie, because a lot of people hold their breath
Yes,
when they're
you have to
concentrating.
breathe, 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 and relax your shoulders. Then you're gonna slowly open your eyes. You can bring your arms down, and then we like to do other side. So we try to do, we do both sides. Again, balance beam or not. Arms out, shoulders down, eyes closed when you're ready. Weight is in those heels. You want to shift the weight back just a bit. Relax your toes. And breathe. And then arms down, eyes open. So that's an example of our balance work. Shall we do?
I've just got a little tip now. When you go to do twirly bird,
Yes.
and the dipping at the hip,
Yep.
I just wanted to add this little note, Carrie, that when you dip at the hip, still feel the weight in your back heel.
Yes.
That's an important note.
Let's practice dipping at the hip. So your knees are soft. I want you to take both hands and put them here, just to kind of get those out of the way. Knees are soft. You're tipping at the hip. So your belly button is facing the wall directly in front of you. And now your belly button is going to face the floor.
Yep.
So you're hinging right here. This is your hip joint, the crease in the hip. You're hinging at the hip. You're pushing your tailbone back. You're going to immediately feel it through the back of your legs, your hamstrings and your glutes. You're loading up those muscles. The weight is in your heels. You can wiggle your toes and you come up through the heels. So that's your dip at the hip. This is something that you should practice and perfect.
See, some people lose track of the foot placement and they start to fall forward. So you can't let go of your heel placement awareness.
Weight shifts back into those heels. So for our next balance move, you have two options. Right leg is the worker. Kickstand the left toes. Soften the knees. Dip at the hip. You get that, and then you extend your arms. So arms are out. From here, we lift that leg. Maybe you just lift it for a moment. Maybe you put fingers on a table or chair next to you for a little extra support.
No problem with that.
No. Then the next level would be looking over one shoulder, trying to maintain that balance, coming through center, and then you're looking over the other shoulder and coming through center. So that was working the right leg. So now we're going to shift our energy to the left. Kickstand the right toes back, knees soft. Tip over, extend. If and when you're ready, you're going to lift that leg. You're going to slowly look over one shoulder.
Is it easier on one side than the other for you, Carrie?
It is. It's typically easier on my right side.
Okay.
And that's normal. You're going to have one side that might be a little bit weaker. then the other a little stronger. You may be more flexible on one side. So just pay attention to that.
Yeah, it is. Now, the next one, which is strengthening, we're going to do in a whole strengthening segment. But right now, let's just do proprioception as part of fall prevention.
Okay. So we're gonna move our feet a little bit. You ready for some fun?
Oh, no, we're going to do the walking backwards.
Oh, walking
okay.
backwards first. Okay.
Just to get that out of the way.
If you're gonna join us here, just make sure behind you, the space behind you is clear. And you're just gonna walk backwards.
So Carrie is dropping the ball of her foot first, which is opposite to a heel drive when you're walking forward. Well done.
How was that?
You almost bumped into me, Carrie.
I can see myself in the iPad,
Oh,
so
okay.
I knew where it was going. I kind of cheated.
But a long hallway with no obstruction would be good, because then the walls are right there.
Mhm.
And it takes practice
Yes.
to do it confidently.
Yes.
So now we're ready for fall retrieval.
Okay.
This
Da,
one
da,
is
da, da, da.
da 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 da. It's right, coming up.
So you're just kind of on the balls of your feet, right? Like a football player, right? Right here. Quick, 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 quick. So this is one that we do in class. We have another one where you step out in the front with the right, left, side, side, back, back.
This is good.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Front, front, side, side, back, back. Once you get it, we speed it up. And then we change your lead leg. Left, right, left, right, left, right. Same format, front, front, side, side, back, back. And then sometimes we even mix it up more.
Oh, yeah.
But you'll have to join the class.
We'll save that.
We're saving it. So that's an example there.
May I just insert that for every exercise we are teaching today, that we have probably 5 others that we rotate around. This is a very, very wide-based class.
Yes.
And we make sure that you don't do a repetition in every class. So every class is different.
Mhm.
And we have variations on every single thing that we do. So now
Yes.
we're ready to warm up the internal joints. Do you want to
Okay.
start with the shoulders and the neck?
Yeah, so I won't. Typically we hold weights in our hands. I'm gonna come close. So I have 2 weights in my hands, all right? What you're gonna do is you're gonna take your shoulders, you're gonna shrug them up as high as you can get them. You want to think about shoulder to your earlobes, right? You're up, up, up. You're gonna hold that for a count of 10. You're gonna turn sideways now. We take the shoulders, we bring everything back, we punch to the floor, we reach to the floor. As we're reaching to the floor, we open from the shoulder, chest is open. And then we have 2 different moves that we do here. Our first one, right ear to the right shoulder. So the left arm is heavy. We're not shrugging the shoulders.
That's right.
They're level. We're not going here. Engage those muscles surrounding your shoulder blade. So you should feel a nice stretch through the left side of your neck.
We've had several people in the class not able to do the floor work on all 4s because of their neck. And this class alone has cleared up at least 3 issues with necks. So we're really thrilled about this, and we advise people to do a lot of these little things daily. We actually detail more daily activities when you're in the program.
And then let's do our other one. So you shrug up, up, up. High, high, high. Again, we hold it for a count of 10. You take the arms, you slide them back. You reach to the floor, palms forward. You're going to look over your right shoulder. You're then going to look down towards the right armpit or right fingers. And then you're going to slowly look up to the ceiling. So you take your time with this.
Yep.
Come back through neutral, and we're going to do the other side. So you shrug it up, 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 up.
Who taught you to talk like that, Carrie? Up,
You.
up, 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 up. Yeah.
I never used to talk like that. Slide it back, reach it down, open up, up, up. Chest is open. Look over the left shoulder. Looking down and pause. Enjoy the stretch. Slowly look up. And back to center. And if you are joining us, get some water. We talk about hydration a lot in class, so get a little drink of water.
I also want to say that we're allowing some time for questions and answer at the end.
Yeah.
And if you feel that you've got a burning burning question, you could ask it now.
Yes, if
All
you have
right.
questions, don't hesitate to unmute yourself and ask.
Cheers.
Cheers. Okay, so that was our neck.
What happens to muscles if they're dehydrated, Carrie? What do they start to look like?
Not good, and they start cramping.
And they look like beef jerky.
Yeah, we don't want beef jerky.
So we don't want any of those muscles in the program.
And we do a little bit of swimming in class. Bigger movements. Reaching through the fingertips, coming around. Just opening everything up.
And breathing better.
Yes.
So how about the joints between the vertebrae? We'll do the wave.
Okay.
We'll just
So-
do it once.
Your knees are soft. I want you to tip at the hip as we practice at the beginning of class. But then you're going to just hang out down there. Okay. You're going to start to think about your tailbone. And we're going to stack your spine. So you pull your belly button in. You slowly, slowly, slowly start to roll up.
As though you were stacking Legos, one on top of the other, starting from the base of the spine up. While Carrie and you were in the drop position, then you were doing a little decompression of your vertebrae. They were getting separated from each other. They were having time out from each other, which is good because compression in the spine can cause a lot of spine problems, including pain. But you learn about your spine in this class, don't you?
Yes.
And we learn about our joints, the inside of the joints, not just what the big arm can do or the big leg. We talk about how the function of arms and legs is dependent on healthy joint function.
Yes. Okay.
That was a nice wave.
That felt good.
That went with the swimming, right?
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. It does feel good. And you actually stand better after you've done maybe two or
Yeah.
three. But as I said, we're just sampling you through this class. Now we have the hips.
Okay.
Do you want to do sitting on the ball,
Okay.
sitting on the chair?
Sit in your chair. So
This is the play ball.
yes, if you join class, we will let you know what you need, and everything's very easy to purchase.
Yes, if you register, we'll give you explicit directions on. So this is a modification of what we've been doing. Carrie, you're not used to this. I throw new work at Carrie all the time, and she always says, "Bring it on!"
I
Right?
have no idea what's coming, just like you.
I know.
It makes it fun that way.
You're all in the same boat.
Right? Yes.
So bring your leg up now.
Towards me.
Yes, towards yourself, and then drop your knee out to the side. Now push it away and straighten it out as you push away. So it's exactly where it started. Push it away and then bring your foot up straight. That's how you end. That's how you start. Out, push away with the ankle on the ball and end up with the foot on the ball. So this is doing internal rotation at the head of the femur. This is a joint that stiffens up. And if you don't believe me, check out arthritis in the hip. It's everywhere. Check out all the people who have had hip replacements because their hips had arthritis. So movement is a very, very beneficial action on hips because it adds synovial fluid, functioning better, movement, balance. It all helps with loose hips. We're just going to do one leg.
Okay.
As I said, this is not a real
Yeah,
class,
no,
right?
this is just, we just want to give you tidbits of what we cover in class, how we warm up,
Yeah.
strengthening exercises, so you have a general idea as to what we are.
And then they can ask, we'll have time for
Yes,
questions at the
for
end.
sure.
All right, so that's opening up the hips. And I have to say, that does work the neck of the femur. And that's a very popular spot for arthritis and osteoporosis. So now we're into the strengthening. Awesome. Now, notice that there are there's no gym equipment here. There's no huge barbells. What? There's no chains hanging from the ceiling?
No chains.
No, we do it all in the comfort of your own home with very little equipment.
Or you can come into the community center.
Well, that's right. We
Yeah.
have space for a few
We have
live people.
space in the class or Zoom or a mixture of both, which is really nice. If you can't get to the space, get here.
Now, as I said earlier, the strengthening is definitely following an integrative progression pattern. And so everybody would start off with light weights.
Mhm.
And I said that we would do the upright version for upper body and lower body, and we
Yeah.
will then go to the floor for lower body. So what do you have for weights today, Carrie?
That's good.
For light ones. right?
Light, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And would you like to do some bicep curls?
Okay. We'll come close. So biceps, front of the arm, two muscles, hence BI, all the way up. and down. So we'll do a variation of these. Typically, we combine them with a lower body exercise. We've got a hammer curl where the palms are facing in. And then we have palms down.
A little harder,
A
right?
little bit harder, a little more challenging. And we work to exhaustion, right? So we'll do a certain amount of repetitions, a challenging amount of repetitions for each exercise that we do.
And we will teach you about extreme fatigue in the
Yes.
class. Now, every muscle has a partner. So the partner to the bicep is the
Tricep. Back of the arm. So that's the back of the arm between the elbow and the shoulder. Are the muscles that are extending our arm. They're in charge of extending. We don't extend a lot during the day. So this is a nice muscle group to work. So you're reaching away. And you can do this. You can try this even if you don't have any weights with you right now. Just body weight. So you can feel those muscles working.
yeah, because we don't do that as a rule.
No, never.
Maybe
We're
if you
not really reaching
overhead or
and extending. We're
playing
picking up a
basketball.
lot, so you're using your biceps a lot, but not the back of the
That's
arm.
right. So that's essential, the
Yeah.
balance. So then we're going to have some lunges. What we're doing today is teaching you isolated movements because as we flow into the program, we start multitasking,
Mhm.
but we're not going to show that today. We're showing you the isolated movements. So now we're going to show the lunge,
Okay,
front,
so
side, back.
we have 3 different lunges. So we're going to focus, right leg is going to be moving. We're going to start with our front lunge. So we bring the knee up. So that in turn makes you work on your balance, right? We're working the hip flexor, hip area. You step that foot out, you bend both knees. You then in turn push out of that front foot, bringing that knee up and tap it down. So let's try a couple of those. Knee up, step it out, bend both knees, push out of that front foot. That's the working leg. Push. Let's do one more. Up.
I can see that developing balance too, Carrie.
Yes. Definitely.
Don't be afraid if you wobble. That's a good thing.
And now we're going to go to the side lunge. So you bring the knee up, you step it out. The right knee bends, left leg stays straight. Tailbone automatically tips back, toes forward. Push out of that foot, knee up, put it down. Do it again. Up, step it out. Up. Let's do one more.
Excellent. Nice holding too. Nice holding. So before Carrie does the last one, I want to mention if you have a knee problem and cannot bend your knees and this hurts, let me know because I have a modification. I'm not going to teach it today, but in class, if people say my knee bothers me, you will not do the lunges. You'll do it, the modification that I'll teach you. Okay.
Okay, we're going to go backwards now. So I'll face you first. Knee comes up, you step that leg back. You're not on a tightrope. So make sure your feet are about hip width. So your base is wider. Knee comes up, put it down. Up. One more time. All right, so that was your right leg. We're going to go to the left side now. We're going to go front lunge first. Knee up, step it out, bend the knees, pause. Push out of that foot.
That pause is important. You do a good job with that, Carrie.
Thank you. Let's do one more. We're going to go to the side now. Step it up, bring it up, step it out. Bend the knee, toes forward, push out. 2 more. Up. One more time.
I'd like to point out that we're doing a terrific total body workout in a very small space.
Yes.
You don't have to
need
have
lot
a
of
huge space for this.
I'm staying in my little box on my iPad, so my
That's
space is
right.
very small.
We're very space frugal. Space
Yes.
frugal.
Back. 2 more. And throughout the class, we have the iPad where you see me, and we have a computer where Beverly watches you. So the majority of the participants are on screen, so Beverly can in turn watch your form, give you tips, technique hips. So there's always a set of eyes on you and what you're doing.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm really quick with them, right?
Yes.
Like stand up straighter
Yeah.
or something.
Yep. She's always giving
Moving
you
fast though.
tips. Yep.
Because everybody gets coached on my shift if your picture's up on my screen.
Yes.
Right? Okay.
So that's important. If you know, to have your picture, don't feel embarrassed or uncomfortable. That will make your experience more effective. We'll be able to see you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. So now, and I have to mention that I now have 2 new lenses in my eyes.
Yes.
I've had my 2 cataracts
So
removed.
she can really see you, even if you don't have your camera on.
I can see through it.
She
Yeah.
can still see you. Oh my God,
I'd
imagine.
recommend it to anybody. All right. So that was strengthening of upright, and we did upper body, and we did some lower body. We could do a squat just for the heck of it.
Yeah. What? So, because we did we practice this at the beginning of each class. Typically, we practice our tip at the hip, and then we practice our squat. So your squat is your knee bend. Your squat is how you're sitting down into a chair. So let me stay sideways. You bend the knees. You push the hips back. So sometimes it's nice to have a chair there. You don't necessarily need to sit down, but maybe
Well, that's good.
Tap
That's a good
the
idea,
chair.
Carrie. Excellent.
just to practice so you know you're getting your hips back enough rather than kind of leaning forward into the toes. You want to sit that way back into the heels. So you can always use a chair as a little prop.
Okay, so the next thing, since you've got the chair,
Yeah.
can be done in the chair or the larger exercise ball for wrists.
Okay.
A lot of people have wrist issues and they're very afraid to strengthen them. But if you have a personal issue, you can always email me. Once you're registered, I do 20-minute consults on other medical issues or your bone scan. So the reason we've brought in the exercise ball is because it just so happened a lot of members went out and bought them. We didn't ask for them.
Yeah.
But since so many people have them, we offer a little program on the ball, and we can also move it to the chair if you don't have a big ball. So we'll do wrist now. Once again, warm up and the strengthening and then the stretch.
So we always warm our wrists up. So you're going to tip at your hips seated in a chair or a ball, but you always want your forearms supported on your thighs. You're never here because then the whole arm is in the whole arm starts moving, and we don't want that. We want just your wrist. So you're leaning on your thighs, and we're making a nice 8, figure 8. With the wrist, my fingers are clasped. So we start with this.
It's a pretty good camera.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I can see very well.
With your new eyes.
Oh,
I mean, it's not that close, but I really could see it with your new eyes.
yeah.
And then we would pick up our imaginary weights. We always go start lighter with this. And you have a couple different options. So sometimes we're here, we're level, and then you're coming up, bending up from the wrist. I'll come a little closer so you can see me. And then we come back to level. We're never dropping down, always staying in line with that forearm. Up. So we do palm down. We do palm up. So fingernails up. And there's a couple.
You're very good about the hold at the end, Carrie.
Yeah, you want to pause and then come down slow. So you're always taking your time with these. Now I have a couple other exercises, but we'll have to wait and see.
We're just tasting today.
And then we always stretch at the end. So I'll give you a nice stretch that you can do even if you didn't just work your wrist. You make a fist, drop the knuckles, take the other hand, shoulders not up here, keep it down, putting some pressure on that hand. You're stretching all through that forearm up into the elbow. It's great for carpal tunnel. And then we'll go to the other side. And then arms up, and we just do a little shake here.
Nice.
So that's our wrist work.
Yeah, they would be good to do throughout the day because we do use our wrists a lot in
Yes.
flexion, and we can sort of get carpal tunnel lurking. So Carrie, we have no questions so far.
Okay.
So why don't we take this show to the floor?
All right, we're going to the floor. pretend I have a map.
Like I said earlier, if you can't go to the floor, you mentioned it to me, once you've registered, you want to talk to me about your inability to do something. That's when I would offer you privately some modifications.
Yeah, we can give you modifications if you can't get down. So we're gonna start on our side.
We're gonna do the heel toe. You have to know what a clock looks like for this class. The old-fashioned clocks, not digital.
Not the digital clock that we all have.
12 and 6.
So I'm in a straight line right now from my head all the way down to my toes. I'm gonna bend my bottom leg just to get it out of the way. And then your top, so we're moving from your hip joint here. So practice this. Put your hand right here. And that right here is what's making my knee and my toe go towards the ceiling. Right here, what's making my knee and toe go to the floor.
At 6
So,
o'clock.
Yes. So what you're not doing is weird things with your wrist. Try to focus, put your focus here on the hip, and then we're gonna drop the toes, come up to hip height, open it out, and then you drop your heel to the floor. Belly button's pulled in.
And you keep the 6 o'clock on the dot in mind, and your head's at 12 o'clock.
Yes.
That's where you become the clock.
Maybe sometimes we do 7 o'clock.
Yeah, we rock around the clock.
Yeah, there's lots of clock references in class.
Yeah, I know.
And we do a lot more repetitions than what we're doing here. This is just, again, just to show you. So that's one of our exercises.
We will describe extreme fatigue, which is the hallmark of building bone,
Yeah.
in a program. Once you register, you'll find out a lot more details
Yeah.
about this.
And then our favorite, Christina.
This is after the painting by Andrew Wyeth.
We'll show you that. We don't have it here now. So I'm lifting my shirt up because I want you to see that I'm not slouched down here. That bottom rib cage is lifted. You're gonna take your bottom leg out in front, your top leg comes back. So I'm at a 90-degree bend here. And then this back leg, right where my hand is, you're lifting from that area and lowering. It's a lift and it's a lower. There are numerous variations of this exercise that we get into.
But they can do them, right?
Yeah.
Like once you've learned the basics,
Oh, yeah.
Christina.
Yep.
We just do it to entertain the muscles a little.
Yep. So we're here, and then we add some rotation, dropping the knee, dropping the toe. So getting the rotation right in that hip joint. Then there's a couple other fun ones that we do.
Oh, far too many to mention.
I know, seriously. We work the inner thigh in class. That's a weaker muscle. And then we do work both sides. Do you want me to go to the other side or?
No, just one side.
Okay.
So could you do a plank now, please?
I could. Yes, planks. Planks are fun. So let's go. I'll go kind of at a diagonal so you can see me. I'll give you a couple options. So option one, you always start on your belly. I like to start on the belly. You tuck your toes. My elbows are directly under my shoulders. Your modified plank, you keep your toes tucked. All you're gonna do is lift your belly off the floor, your torso off the floor. This is modified. If you're a bit more advanced, you can lift one knee off the floor and hold that, or two. So you really focus on from here to here, like engaging all of these muscles. You are not up here.
Right.
You're not doing yoga. Your shoulders, your hips, and your heels are lined up. And you're just really engaging all of the muscles through your whole body. We typically hold that for 15 minutes.
Carrie.
Just kidding, I don't want to scare you. A minute.
I have to keep an eye on Carrie. She'd have you here for 2 hours. I
So
don't.
we hold that for a minute or so. I have my handy timer. So
That's
I time
right.
that, right?
When she's looking at the floor, she's counting the
I'm
seconds.
counting, like, are we almost done? So that's one move, and then we have the Canadian back lift. And then we come all the way down on our belly. So your legs stay on the ground, you're not doing anything there. Your arms are by your sides, palms are down. You tuck your chin. So I'm looking right at the floor. Never look up. You always watch me for a couple of repetitions. I'm always going to be doing the exercises, and then you do them on your own. So tuck the chin, and then your upper body comes up. I'm reaching my fingers down towards my knees. I come back down to hover and lift again. So I'm squeezing my shoulder blades together. Exhale, inhale, exhale. And then we have a couple other variations.
But this
on
is
this
going to work your
exercise.
total hip and your total spine.
Yeah.
And with the Christina, it was neck of the femur. So we've done a lot of the total hip. There's 35 muscles that attach to the total hip. So theoretically, we should have 35 exercises for each muscle that attaches to total hip. But luckily, we combine exercises so that we get every muscle attaching to the total hip. And that's where a lot of osteoporosis goes.
Yeah.
So now the next thing is a little talk on nutrition. Why don't we have some water while we do that?
Okay.
We're considering water as part of nutrition. Also, the four main food groups that you need to be aware of are calcium. And calcium is the one of all of them that has to be monitored. You cannot take your 1,200 required milligrams by supplement. We think that 300 milligrams as a supplement would be safe, but your goal in this program is to start eating foods that feed bone, and calcium is total of 1,200 milligrams. The next buddy is magnesium, requiring 340 milligrams per day per woman. And then we have vitamin D3, which is not accessible from sunshine in New England. That's taken with some fatty fish. There are maybe 5 food sources for vitamin D, but you can take a supplement safely. And the fourth one is vitamin K2. Vitamin K2 is easily found in foods such as animal proteins or any fermented foods. And there's a whole list of fermented cheeses that we go into when we go into detail about nutrition. So how do you feel now?
Good.
Just that little bit of movement.
Yeah,
makes you
feels
feel
good.
It
Yeah.
does.
Yep.
So what I want to do now is our last but not least element, and that is stress management. So I don't know if people are still on the floor or not.
If you are,
Why don't
stay
you-
there. Or you can sit in a chair, a supported chair.
I think we'll teach
Floor
the
better?
chair version because
Okay.
more people are in chairs than they are on the floor.
I know.
That's the general rule, unless you're a dog, right?
Right.
So why don't we sit on our sits bones? Well, may I mention that if you're not doing stress management, all of this goes out the window, because that means you're maybe stressed a little bit and you're hovering cortisol levels in all systems, including brain inflammation. So therefore, stress management has become an integral part of this program. Even if you think you're not stressed, try these exercises and you will feel different afterwards. So we're doing the seated version. There's a ball in each buttock called the sits bones. And you want to establish yourself on that. And then as Carrie stacked her vertebrae coming up from the wave, you'd stack your sacrum, your lumbar vertebrae, your thoracics, bringing your shoulder blades together, and then making sure your shoulders are down. Carrie hates it when shoulders come up to the ears.
I don't like
right
it.
now.
It stresses me out.
It does, absolutely.
Your
Then I have to
shoulders
deal with her.
And your ears are not friends. Keep them away from one
Keep them
another.
away from like two brothers,
They're
right?
siblings.
Yeah.
A lot of space between them.
Some bad brothers.
Yes.
Okay, we're down. Imagine your lungs, 2 balloons. And this is taken from Herbert Benson's book, The Relaxation Response. Proven and empirically proven to reduce blood pressure and keep it down without medication. His book was The Relaxation Response. Inhale to 3 through your nose. And exhale through your mouth to 5. Inhale to 3. And out through your mouth to 5. This is very effective if you keep your eyes closed. Inhale to 3. And out to 5. Now, this is a breath pattern that reduces stress, reduces blood pressure. But of course, it's not going to happen in one breath. You want to learn to do this maybe as meditation, a few minutes at a time throughout the day. The other thing is we employ this breath pattern in some of our stretches at the end, which we're not doing today. because the muscle lets go on the exhalation. It's a good thing to know. So that's why I don't recommend doing exercises while you're watching television, because you've lost the connection between your body and your mind. And I'll just leave you with this one. You could take that last digit, 5, and add it by 1, make it 6. You start increasing the number of your exhalation. The inhalation stays at 3. So people who have practiced this, they have control over an exhalation up to maybe 10. And that's when you want to just say, I'm there, and keep it as a daily practice. And who's not stressed these days?
I know.
So it also helps with better sleep. There's other stress management techniques that we do, right, Carrie? But
Yes.
that will all come alive when you sign up for the class.
Yep.
So do you think we have any questions? We're ready, right?
Oh, we're ready for questions. If anybody has any, you can just unmute yourself, or I can't unmute you. So if you want to ask any questions, and don't be shy. I will also send an email with the registration details.
Oh, thank you.
Any questions? Nancy?
Yeah, is the next free class very similar to today's, the January 9th class?
Sorry, I didn't get that.
January 9th, the Monday class.
Yeah, is that one similar to today's class?
No, nothing will be like this class.
No, it will be different.
It'll be a class.
Okay. It's going to be more of a class. This was more of an info session. You know, we wanted to be able to, cover different things, and you to be able to ask any questions if you have. But yeah, Monday will be different.
Okay, great.
Linda, any questions?
No, it was pretty self-explanatory. Thank you.
You're welcome. What about Lydia? Any questions?
No, I agree with what Linda said. Well done.
You did a good job.
If they could, yeah.
Right? If we covered everything.
Will you be signing up?
I'll have to take a look at my schedule because I do several exercise classes throughout the week just to make sure that I don't have conflicts.
Okay.
May I address that? I work with a lot of people who are in a lot of exercise classes and a lot of walking. And there's a term that would define which exercise is best for you, and that is osteogenic. Is it an exercise that builds bone? So if you have osteoporosis that has not improved with the exercises that you're doing now, you might want to consider maybe taking one of those as a Zoom class or on YouTube, but enroll in something that is going to build bone, that has proven data, that has evidence behind it. Because osteoporosis will continue to worsen. If it's not improving with the programs you're doing now, you might want to sit back and prioritize.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.
And I can answer questions because I know a lot of the other exercise routines, and I counsel people a lot on how they can do it all. Some people want to do it all, but with osteoporosis in your life, that has to prioritize because it has very dreadful effects.
Yeah.
Well, I'm osteopenic and I've been my T-scores have been pretty stable for the last decade. So I'm hoping to keep it there.
Okay.
All right. Anybody else? We're good? Zumba Gold?
Oh yeah, Zumba Gold.
I'm sorry. This is Jane. For some reason, my name turned to be Zumba Go. I'll fix it later.
That's funny, right?
I was a little bit surprised too. Not to be that way.
No problem. All right. So everybody, if you don't have any questions, then we look forward to seeing you in class. I will send out the link, the sign up link, so you have the information.
Great.
And you all have my email and Beverly's email. If you have any questions, please email us as well.
Okay, thanks for the offer.
You're welcome. Have a lovely rest of the day.
You too.
Yeah, you too.
Bye now.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, David. It was good to see your name.
We saw you, David.
We'll see you.
All right. Thank you for joining us. It was a pleasure.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you.